Hello, Team Builder, and welcome to another episode of Tools for Team Builders. I'm Dr. Chris Cavert. Today I'm trying out a new microphone. It's actually a wireless mic without a receiver. It goes right into an app on the camera. So I'm filming with my camera today in one light. I just want to see how this works and how it compares to the other Tools for Team Builders episodes and see if this is a quicker way that I can film things. Today we're going to talk about card groupings. Some of you might already use cards for getting people into groups. I recently tried to write this and type this out, and I thought, it'd probably be better way to explain it is to show it on video and see how that works. And I've also got the description that I wrote out in the blog post with this video. But there's a couple ways to do this. First, I'm going to say, let's say we have 40 to 50 people. So with one deck, you can play with up to 52 people, and you can get them split into groups using cards. But you do need to prep the cards. And I'm going to show you how I prep the cards. If you're working with less, 30, you can still use cards. You can divide cards. Maybe you can take out a suit. We're going to talk about even bigger groups taking out a suit and kind of equaling the number of cards per people in your group. But I usually use cards to divide larger groups. Any over 40 to 100 people, then I can use a couple of decks. Once it gets larger than that, then there's other ways to separate groups, probably getting them into lists before they show up to a program, or getting them colored bandanas, or usually larger programs have some sort of way to get people in the groups. But let me show you how I do this. Let's start with one deck. So it would be up to 52 players, let's say about 50. And what I do is I put on the top of the deck, you start with the aces. So I want to get all the aces. And I usually go black, red color. All right? Black, red color. And then I'll add the twos, then the threes, and so on. And just since I like to have them the same, I usually keep the same sequence of cards, which would be, I believe in this set I have a clubs, diamonds, spades, and hearts. So all the four of a kinds are together in that order. It's going to be important when you're using cards with groups to teach them the terminology of the cards. Some people, I've actually been in one group so far, an adult group, where there was someone in the group who had never seen a deck of cards before. So you want to create a language so everybody knows what the cards are. I call this the back. So this is the back, and then I call this the face. All right, so this is the face. Even though there are face cards, we use those as terminology when we're playing cards, but this actually is a rank. So anything that's on there, an A, a 2, a 3, a 5, a 10, a Jack, Queen, King, those are all ranks. All right, so you want to say the rank of your card is a letter or number. And then, of course, there's suits. There's hearts, spades, diamonds, and clubs. All right? Did I sneak a little king in there? All right, so clubs, diamonds, spades, and hearts. And the group might even name them something else. I think one of the groups that I work with named the club a clover. So whatever language you use, and if the group wants to use a particular language, you can use it that way. And then how it works is when the people start coming into the program, this takes a little while, but as they kind of trickle in, or they might be there all at the same time, doesn't really matter. But I like to hand out a card. I start from the top, and I hand out cards one at a time, and I get a chance to connect with people. So if you have up to 50 people, it only takes a minute to hand all these out. Everybody's kind of reaching in. You look at them, say hello. Thanks for being here. Hold on to this card. You can look at it if you want to, no problem. So as you're handing them out, another way, as we're going to talk about with a larger group, I'll show you how to do it a little faster. So then I'll start handing them out from the top. I'll go from the top, and I'll keep handing these out to people. And one of the things I like about this method as well is, let's say I've handed out all these cards and I have these left. So now all I have to do is look and see. Right now we have 2 jacks remaining, the queens and the kings. So now I know I have all the tens out there, so that's 40 people, and then plus 2 jacks, 41, 42. So now I know I have 42 people. And then that way I can decide how I'm going to split my groups. Um, and with 2 jacks, something to keep in mind as you're working with, if you have maybe 1 jack left, or maybe there's 3 jacks left, you have to decide when you're doing your groupings that you might separate those that rank and throw them into another group real quick, because that group might be too small for what you're doing. So adding one more person to another rank group usually goes pretty well and goes pretty fast. And then if people show up, sometimes I'm in workshops where people come a little later. All I do is keep these close to me in my back pocket or in my bag, or close where I can grab them, and then I just give the next new people cards as they come in. So I know, hopefully I know ahead of time I don't have any more than 52, because then that would mess this system up. But if you know you're not going to be sure, then you'll have a larger deck or 2 sets of cards. I'll show you how that works. Okay, so let's split these up into groups. So I usually, when I'm playing games, usually icebreaker games or questions that I want them to answer, I start out with small groups like pairs, and then I build from there. And as the groups get larger, then voices, don't get shared as much, but then people at least get a little more comfortable once they start sharing their voice. So in pairs, if you want to do pairs, you basically say, look for a person with your same rank, right? And then the same color. So now you also have colors. You have reds and blacks. So remember, you have backs, face, ranks, and colors, black and red. So now you have pairs, okay? Let's do a group of 4. Basically, group of 4, that's easy. Just say get together and like rank. You got a group of 4. Now remember the jacks, there were only 2 jacks that we handed out at the end. So you're going to know, you're probably going to take those 2 people and you're going to put them in a group that they're standing next to and have them interact or answer questions or do an activity with that group. And it'll be an odd number, but it'll still be getting into groups faster. All right, let's say we want to do about 5 to 7, depending on how many people are in your group. You're going to want to get together and like suit. All right, let's say we pull out, all the aces are going to get together, like suit. And then you're going to tell them like suit, odds and evens. Like suit, odds and evens. The ace we'll call it a 1. And then of course the jack is a 10, jack is an 11, queen is 12, king is 13. So 5 to 7 people, depending on how many you have, like suit, odds and evens. All right, let's go to 8. 8 is about the next logical number. You're just going to get 2 ranks together. Aces get together with the 2s. There you go. Aces get together with the 2s, the 3s get together with the 4s, and you go all the way up. And if you have leftovers again, just separate those people into other groups. And the final one, so there would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different ways that you can get people into progressively larger groups. The last one would just be to get together in like suit. So all the hearts get together, all the clubs, spades, and diamonds, they all get together. So with handing these out, remember we had 42, we'll have 4 groups of 10 or 11. And that gets us into 5 different groupings to either do there's an activity called commonalities. Every group they get together, they spend 3 minutes finding out how many things they have in common with each other. And that's one activity you can do throughout the progression of different size groups. And so that's one way to separate with one deck of cards. And one of the things I do recommend, if I do multiple card groupings at a time, I like to do what's called a blind shuffle in between each new group size. So I just have them exchange cards with people near them, face down until I say stop. And then I make sure everybody has a new card. Everybody have a card? Yeah. Anybody need a card? Find out where that card is. When everybody has a card, then look at your card. Get into groups by whatever it is you're getting it into, whatever size you want at that point in time. All right, so let's look at putting 2 decks of cards together with even larger groups. Recently, I had a group of about 60 people. It ended up being about 56, I think, 56 to 58. So I took 2 decks of cards and with different backs. All right, it's going to be important you have different backs so they're distinguishable from the other cards, so you can make other kinds of groups. What I like to do is same thing as the single deck. What I do is get all the like ranks together. Now, since I had 60 people, I knew I was going to be up to 60. I took out what did I take out? I took out the clubs of each deck. So now I only had clubs, and I actually took out the face cards. So now I only have actually 60 cards. Ace to 10 in the hearts, spades, and diamonds of the different backs. Now I like to, it often doesn't really matter if you mix these up, but I just like to mix them up just in case we get to a little more fine tuning of getting into group sizes, that you have the alternate the back colors or pictures or whatever it is. So obviously you see how that works all the way through. So the idea, again, same with the single deck. You have all the aces, all the twos, all the threes. Now remember, I knew I wasn't going to exceed 60. I was hoping I wasn't going to exceed 60. It worked out well that time. And then up to tens. So I know I have 60 cards in my deck. And again, the reason I knew how many I had is I had a couple cards left over. So I know there was a couple people that came in later. So it was a workshop. People were traveling. So then I handed out cards as we went along. And later on in the program, we used these cards throughout the program. And later on, I basically knew how many people actually attended. So it was a nice way to get kind of a read on how many people are in the group. With 2 decks, what you have to do, let's go into pairs, right? With pairs, it's going to be the same rank, all right? So if you're going to do pairs, let's get out the aces. So it's going to be the same rank, so you have aces. Then you want to do the same color, and now we've got everybody into pairs. With larger groups, it's really important that you have a good way to communicate with them and let them know that they need to listen to all the directions. It's very important. You know, people like to get going before you give them the go-ahead or give them all the directions. Good friends of mine say, hey, in a moment, but not yet. So you want to listen to all the directions. Then after they're done, the activity, whatever we've done, questions, finding commonalities, whatever you want to do with the pairs, then I say, okay, blind shuffle. And they already know how to do a blind shuffle. I taught them how to do that. They shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. I say, stop. Everybody have a card. Okay, next grouping. So we have same rank. So let's do threes. So they're going to be in threes. Let's do the twos this time. All right. Twos, twos, twos. So we have same rank and then the same color back. So if we get together with same color backs, we have then our groups of 3. All right. So again, same rank, same back, right? Same rank. So they got to know, they got to understand the terminology and then go from there. So let's get into groups of 5. You're going to get them into same suit, same suit. So let's say all the hearts get together. Then you're going to say same back, right? They're going to get together in their same back colors or shapes. And then you're going to get into odds or evens. So same suit, same back, odds and evens. And then they divide themselves into that. As people are working together, especially as a group gets larger, I always say, come over to me if you have any questions and I'll help you find a group. Or ask somebody near you that might have got the details of the information and then they might be able to help you. It's about helping each other. It might take us a little while to get into groups, but we'll find our groups. And I always repeat, I'll say same suit. Okay, so look for your suit. Same back. Now we're going to go odds, evens. Again, ace is 1, king is 13, and you've helped them figure out if they have the face cards in their possession. Let's go to sixes. Let's go to sixes. Groups of 6, you're just going to do the same rank, right? So remember, let's do threes. So you have basically 6 threes. 6, 4, 6, 5, and let's say you had a couple left over. If I end up with 6, and maybe there's 4 in a group, I may keep that 4 in the same group. I might not split them up. If there's a couple in one group, I may split them up into another group and do the activity that's ahead. And then the last one would be a 10 or more, depending on how many cards you dealt out. Just would say same suit and the same back. Same suit and the same back. So keep that in mind. The idea of whatever you want size groups, you should be able to figure out a way to get them pretty close. So with 2 decks, I got them into pairs, groups of 3, groups of 5, groups of 6, and groups of 10. If I had less than 60, would be 9 or 10 in a group. So card groupings is a pretty fast, quick, and easy way to get people into groups. I buy these small cards usually at a dollar type of store because I don't often collect them again. I let them kind of float around, or I let people know if I need to use the cards again. Hey, hold on to them if you can. Doesn't always work. So if you do need the cards back after your final grouping, let's say you're going to do that group of 9 or 10 at the end, the large group, and that's usually in suits. It usually ends up in suits for the most part. You could do one more super large group and just do colors, and that means 2 super large groups of 20 or more people. So there's one more you could do if you wanted groups that size. Do colors. Whatever your final group is, assign someone in each of those groups. You could say the ace of hearts, or the ace of any suit that you're working with. Collect all the cards and bring them up to me. So if you need to be able to collect those cards and use them for something different during the activity, or you want to reuse them for another program, that's probably the most foolproof, maybe. Not even, doesn't always happen, because unless you check them right away, you might not get everything back. That's why I usually just do a dollar store investment on these cards, and I don't worry about getting them back. And then I use other cards for different activities. I like the larger cards for different activities that I do with cards during a program. So that was card groupings. If you want more details about this activity, you can go to thefundoing.com/blog and type in card groupings, or look for the category tools for team builders, and you can find all the videos that I've put up in this category of tools for team builders. I hope this was useful to you. We're going to put up some other activities that we do with different card groupings later on, or there are probably already some videos up that might be useful to add to your card grouping type of activity. All right, take care out there, and we'll see you next time.